Best scene? Mile High Room. Interior airplane. Day. Natalie, a very attractive flight attendant in her early 30s, greets passengers as they enter the plane. A male passenger. Just another passenger to her. Steps onto the plane.
Restroom?
Natalie points him towards the right direction.
This way, sir.
Thanks. Lost of water today.
George follows, a single man in his late 20s, somewhat shy but confident. He gives Natalie a quick, surreptitious second look before he shows her his ticket.
Hello, welcome.
I'm George. How you doing? I'm in 5A, right?
Natalie replies with a flirtation and slides her hand over his.
That's what it says.
Thanks. I think I can find it.
An attractive lady passes Natalie.
That's a very lovely necklace.
Frank and Lana, a tipsy couple, hanging all over each other who walk by without acknowledging her. Mary enters, chattering away, with John, who just nods in agreement with everything she is saying.
So little Johnny will have to learn on his own. And Rachel can't do both dance and volleyball. It's one or the other. Did you change the light bulb in the bedroom? Are you listening to me, John? My grandma.
The man exits the restroom and follows Mary and John down the aisle to his seat. Natalie checks outside the door and then counts all the passengers. An elderly lady approaches Natalie.
I very much need the restroom.
Natalie helps the lady to the door of the restroom.
Oh, thank you so much, dear. My, you are such a beautiful woman.
Thank you, ma'am. Here you go.
Interior restroom, continuous. The door shuts and the elderly lady looks into the mirror, then bows her head.
Dear God, please get us home safely on this flight. May you guide us home with no problems. You know I get nervous flying and it scares me with my heart conditions. God, I believe you will be with us on this plane all the way until we land. Thank you. Amen.
After a kiss to her cross on her necklace, she exits. Interior airplane, continuous. The old lady makes her way to her seat as other passengers settle in.
Welcome, and thanks for traveling with BA Transhurst, where we guarantee plenty of room for comfort. The terminal is cleared us for takeoff. Please fasten your seatbelts and turn all electronic devices off. Travel time is approximately 2 hours and 10 minutes. Enjoy the ride.
Plane starts moving as people fasten their seatbelts and comfort themselves. Exterior, sky, day. The airplane is in comfortable flight at maximum altitude. The side of the plane reads, BA Transhurst, with plenty of room. Interior airplane day. Natalie serves food to a mother, father, and teenage girl.
Would you like a sandwich?
No thanks.
Yes, we would like 3 sandwiches, please.
Mother hands a sandwich to her daughter, then hands one to her husband, and turns back to her daughter.
You need to eat this. You're too damn skinny. It's not healthy. Matter of fact, take mine too. I put on 2 pounds.
The disgruntled girl starts to unwrap the sandwich. Natalie moves down the aisle to Frank and Lana, who obviously have been drinking.
Excuse me, you serve drinks on this plane?
Yes, everything is $5.
Frank reaches in his pocket and hands her a 20.
Take 2 beers, 2 Jack and Cokes.
A muscular man gets out of his seat and heads towards the restroom. As he opens the door, he glances back at the passengers, and specifically, a man with a turban on his head. Interior restroom, continuous. After the muscular man shuts and locks the door, he turns and stares into the mirror. Quietly, but fiercely, he talks into the mirror.
You piece of shit. You try to bomb this plane, I will snap your neck in 2.
The muscular man continues to stare into the mirror, pounding on his chest and flexing his bicep and chest muscles.
Come on. I want to be the hero. Try it. Go ahead, try it. I will smash your head in, you fucking cocksucker.
Interior airplane day. The muscular man exits the restroom, calm and poised as he heads back to his seat, not making any eye contact with anyone looking straight ahead. Samantha, a middle-aged peaceful woman, is at the end of the novel and deeply into her story. The female passenger sitting in the seat next to her keeps distracting her by trying to make conversation with Samantha. The teenage girl excuses herself to go to the restroom. Interior restroom, continuous. The teenage girl takes a deep breath before putting her finger down her throat. With no hesitation, as if she's done this before, she throws up the sandwiches. She finishes up by rinsing her mouth and washing her hands using the last of the paper towel. Before exiting, she takes one last deep breath. Interior airplane, continuous. Pete, a sloppy and unkempt middle-aged man, waits outside the door as the teenage girl exits the restroom.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Interior restroom, continues. Pete hurries in. He cannot wait any longer and takes a piss. In his rush, he urinates on his hand before making it into the toilet. When Pete is finished, he turns to wash his hand but realizes that there is no paper towel left. He stands there puzzled for a few seconds, then quickly turns to exit the bathroom and says to himself,
The flight attendant has wet wipes.
Interior airplane day. Natalie is in the back of the plane where Pete finds her and hands him some wet wipes. As he walks down the aisle, Frank recognizes him.
Hey, Pete, how the hell's it going? Frank, you remember me?
Frank grabs and shakes Pete's hand, but he tries to pull his wet hand away. Too late.
Sorry, hands are still wet from washing. No paper towel. Need to go and tell the stewardess.
No, don't worry. It's not like it's pee or something. This is the love of my life, Lana.
Frank hands Pete's hand over to shake Lana's hand, and they shake hands also.
Isn't she beautiful?
I have to go back there and...
Yeah, go on, Pete. I gotta get back to my baby.
Frank grabs Lana's hand that Pete just touched and starts sucking her fingers as Pete walks away. And she does the same with his fingers. They both grab their drinks quickly as if the taste of their fingers was no good. George keeps looking back at Natalie. He tries to speak to her, but every time she walks by, he turns away his eyes to a magazine. Mary continues to talk to her husband, not giving him 1 second to respond to anything she is saying, but he finally gets a word in.
Excuse me, Mary, I need the restroom.
You always have to go when I'm telling you something important, John. Yes, go ahead, but think about what I said about paying the Sears bill before the water bill. It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes, sounds like the right thing to do.
Then John hurries towards the restroom. Interior restroom day. John looks into the mirror with a serious face and speaks as if practicing a speech.
Listen here, I am tired of you telling me what to do, where to go, when and how to do things.
He pauses for a few seconds, thinks about what he's just said, and then shakes his head in disagreement.
Excuse me, can you please stop telling me what to do, and please stop telling me where and when to do things? No, how about just leave me alone?
He pauses again and stares into the mirror even longer, and with more anger.
Okay, just let her know how I really feel. However it comes out, just say it. I need to finally stand up for myself. Here we go.
Interior airplane day. John exits the restroom and heads towards his seat. Mary flips through a magazine.
Mary?
Mary does not answer, but shows him a page in the magazine.
Doesn't this apple dumpling look delicious?
John stands there as though he is about to tell her something, but says nothing. Finally, Mary looks at him.
Well, are you going to sit down or what?
Another short pause, and a look of disappointment flashes across John's face.
Yes, dear.
Samantha is still trying to focus on the novel, but still being distracted by her neighbor. Finally, Samantha sees the restroom is unoccupied, stands and takes her book to make her way there.
Excuse me.
Sure, Samantha.
The neighbor lady watches her walk away and shakes her head in disappointment.
Wow, not very friendly, is she?
Interior restroom day. Samantha enters, puts the toilet seat down, and opens her book to read. Interior airplane day. Natalie catches George checking her out and walks over to him.
Do you need something?
No, I'm okay.
Are you traveling on business or pleasure?
Going to visit some friends.
But Frank interrupts.
Miss?
Excuse me, I'll be back in a minute.
I'll still be here.
Natalie walks back to Frank and Lana.
Yes, sir?
My baby isn't feeling well. Upset stomach or something.
Yes, my stomach hurts and I feel hot.
Can I take her to the restroom and maybe pat her down with some water to calm her down?
Yes, sure, whatever you think will comfort her. Do you want some aspirin or some water?
Frank and Lana had already started to get out of their seats and head towards the restroom.
We'll just get some water from the restroom.
Okay, sure, right that way.
Interior restroom day. Samantha sits on the closed toilet and finishes the last pages of her novel. She closes the book and sighs in relief of accomplishment. A knock on the door shortens her celebration.
Hey in there! My girl isn't feeling too well. Can we get in there?
Samantha reluctantly leaves and Frank and Lana. Frank quickly locks the door and they start kissing and rubbing each other.
I told you this would work. Come on, help me get these damn pants down. It's tight in here.
They have rushed sex. When they finish, they quietly dress. Interior airplane day. Frank exits the restroom to find Natalie is standing there.
How's your wife?
She feels better, thanks. She just needs another minute to freshen up.
Lana exits in a matter of seconds after Frank.
Feeling better, baby?
Oh yeah, big boy.
Natalie follows them and stops George's seat.
That was strange.
Yes, I know. Interesting.
Natalie walks for a while and otherwise speechless George can only watch her leave. Interior restroom day. A man bends down to flush the toilet. He turns towards the mirror and starts picking his nose. He picks his nose for a good 2 minutes, then leaves without washing his hands. Interior airplane day. George watches Natalie do her job as he grows fidgety and restless. He finally gets up and walks towards the restroom with one last glance at Natalie. Interior restroom continuous. As George enters and immediately rips down his pants and starts grabbing his crotch. As he is aroused, he starts masturbating and releases himself. After cleaning up, he exits. Interior airplane continuous. George heads back to his seat while he avoids eye contact with Natalie, who is working near his seat. At the back, a hot woman leaves her seat and heads towards the restroom. Most of the men watch as she walks down the aisle. Interior restroom day. The hot woman cleans the toilet with toilet paper, and then she lines the seat with more paper. Casually, she sits down on the toilet. After a relaxing minute, there is a loud. For several minutes, she continues her very loud bowel movement. When she finishes, she washes her hands. She fans the room to wave off the stink. Interior restroom day. The hot woman leaves, and a very large man enters. He is not bothered by the stink, and actually takes a big whiff as though he enjoys it. Interior airplane day. The large man heads back to his seat. He is passed by another very attractive woman.
You're right. Walt Disney did have a fear of mice.
Yeah, it's called musophobia.
I'll be right back.
The attractive woman continues to walk down the aisle towards the restroom and enters. The muscular man stares at the man with the turban. Mary still dominates the conversation with her husband. Frank and Lana are touchy-feely with each other. Samantha stares out the window of the plane while the neighbor lady continues to talk to her. Pete still wipes his hands with wet wipes. George has his head down as if disgusted with himself. The attractive woman exits the restroom and heads back to her seat. The large man has already moved so she can return to her window seat.
What did you eat for lunch? Must have been something stale. Whew.
Wait, you don't think that was me in there, do you? I swear, that was done before I went in.
Yeah, okay, big fella. It wasn't you. I know it was that hot chick who went in there before you.
Come on, why does this always happen to me?
Ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. We will be landing shortly.
Natalie opens the bathroom door and takes a quick look inside. When she shuts the door, she glances down at the aisle at the large man with a disgusting look on her face, as if she smelled the worst odor ever. She then sits in her seat and straps on her seatbelt. Exterior airport day. The airplane lands safely. Interior airplane day. Natalie stands near the exit door to bid goodbye to all the passengers. George leaves while trying not to make eye contact. All other passengers leave the plane in the same manner as they entered. When the plane is empty, Natalie picks up a few items and trash from a couple seats, then enters the restroom. Interior restroom continuous. Natalie grabs the garbage bag from under the sink, then looks around, but sees nothing that requires her attention. She chuckles to herself.
Wonder what goes on in this room. Miles and miles up in the air. The mile-high room.
Fade out.